Now I have a little ceremony that I do before I tell a story. A long time ago I learned that among the Abenaki people who live far to the east, beyond the Great Lakes, the Abenaki people have a custom. Before they tell a story, they sing a song first. Now this story has a purpose. They believe that the story spirit travels around the earth, carrying all the stories. And in order to tell a story, you first have to sing the song. And what you're doing when you're singing that song is you're inviting the story spirit to come and bring the stories, and there you go. Another purpose of that story, of that song, is that when people heard that song being sung, they knew that a story was about to be told. And so they would come if they wished to hear the stories. So if you will indulge me, I will sing that song now. Do you mind if I do that? Well, it's always nice when we can have a campfire, tell a story around, but we can't do that in here. I was told it'll set off the smoke alarm and the water sprinklers will come on, and we'll have to stand outside. It'll rain. And it's raining, and we don't want that. So I'm going to light this little candle, and that'll be our campfire while we tell the story. I have this little holder here. That was gifted to me. And I also like to make a little smoke. Smoke is very, very important among Native peoples. And they seldom did anything without making a little smoke. If they were to say a prayer or to celebrate something. Because they believe that smoke carries our messages to the spirit world, to the Creator, when we said our prayers. So I'm going to do that now. Could you blow that out for me, please? Ah, here's the smoke. What's it supposed to smell like? Pine. Let's hope anyway. I'm going to take my fan here. I'm going to come around the room and spread some of that smoke around, okay? I'll ask you to close your eyes and be very quiet. Would you do that for me? Because if he didn't come and somebody peeked or anything and scared him away, then I don't know how that story's going to go. Well, I'll have my favorite stories too. I'm sure you do too. But the story I'm going to share with you today is in fact from the Abenaki people. I think it's only appropriate. We sang an Abenaki song. Let's tell an Abenaki story. They say that a long time ago after the Creator made the earth, all the mountains, the streams, rivers, and all the plants and animals that we see today. Maybe it was even before the human beings came to the earth, I don't know. But they say it was a long time ago. Most of this land that we call North America was covered in ice and snow. It was very cold. In fact, the scientists say that. If you've seen a movie called Ice Age, you might know what I'm talking about. In those days, they said the birds had no place to go in the winter when the snow began to fly. The cold wind would blow. It seems that the Creator had forgotten something very important. Had forgotten to give the birds, those poor birds, their coats. Now it happened, of course, in the summertime when Warm sun is shining and the warm breezes are blowing. That's fine. The birds were quite comfortable without their coats. Like I said, when that north wind began to blow and the snow began to fly, the leaves began to fly through the air, the wind is coming and the winter begins to approach. They were very cold. They huddled together, shivering. I don't know, they said. I think this winter is going to be very, very cold. We may freeze to death, they said. Oh, they all agreed it was very, very cold. Colder than all the other winters had been before. What are we going to do, they said. Why didn't the Creator give us coats? They wondered. Some little bird said, well, why don't we send a messenger up into the upper world and ask the Creator for some coats? Oh, they thought this was a great idea. So they sent a word out to have a big council. Gather all the birds together, they say. Let's discuss this idea. And so the word went out and all the birds came together. And when they had all gathered, shivering and listening up to each other, the warmth. We have come up with a great idea, said the chief. We want to send a messenger up into the upper world to ask the Creator for some coats so we won't freeze to death this winter. Oh, they all agreed that was a great idea. And they said, yes, yes, we must do this. But who is going to go? Well, everybody looked at each other. They were so cold, nobody wanted to volunteer. They looked up. The clouds were hanging low, and the snow was flying. Whoosh! Nobody wanted to go. Finally, somebody said, what about you? Seagull, you're a good flyer. Would you go up into the upper world and ask the Creator for coats for us? Well, said Seagull in his squeaky voice, I suppose I could try, he said. And with that, he spread his wings and disappeared up into the clouds. Up he went, flying in the clouds, circling higher and higher. But of course, poor Seagull didn't have a coat. And the higher he went, the colder he got. Ice began to form on his eyes, and snow began to gather on his wings. Oh, he was so cold as he circled. Up and higher he went, trying to break up into the upper world above the clouds. But after a while, he was so cold he couldn't even flap his wings anymore. And he had to give up. He came circling back down. And when he broke out of the clouds, all the other birds said, well, did you see the Creator? Is the Creator going to give us coats so we won't freeze to death? Seagull shook his head sadly. No, it was too cold, he said. I couldn't make it. Oh, he said. Well, who else will try, they said. Raven, they said. You're a good flyer. Perhaps you would like to go up. Well, I suppose I can try, he said. With that, he spread his wings, and up he went into the clouds and disappeared. He circled up and higher than the seagull had gone. But still he could not break up above the clouds. And the same thing happened to poor Raven that had happened to Seagull. He began to get so cold that he couldn't flap his wings anymore. And even the Raven had to give up. He came circling back down, broke out of the clouds and landed. And when they saw that he didn't have the coats, they knew that he had failed too. Well, who else will try, they said. And so the other birds tried. The owl, the hawk, even the little hummingbird tried. He went up, zoop, zoop, he was back, it's too cold, he said, and then hid under the wing of the raven. Oh. One after the other, the birds tried. And one after the other, they failed. Well, the birds despaired. We're going to freeze to death, they said. Nobody can get about into the upper world to see the Creator. Who else? Now, Eagle. Eagle had been sitting by himself in a tree not too far from the group. One bird said, what about Eagle? He hasn't tried yet. He's a mighty flyer. Perhaps he can go. Well, let's ask him, they said. So one of the birds went up and said, Eagle, you know what we're trying to do? To get up into the upper world to see the Creator so He can give us some coats so we won't freeze to death. Will you try? The eagle puffed up his chest. He's a very proud bird. Well, I suppose I can try, he said, very proudly. And he spread his mighty wings, and up he went into the clouds, circling up. The wind was howling. Whoosh! The snow was blinding him. But up he went anyway, higher and higher, higher than all the other birds had gone. But the same thing happened to Eagle that happened to all the other birds. It was so cold, sometimes he couldn't see. He could only see out of one eye because the other would be frozen shut. He hit his eye with his wings sometimes just to see where he was going. And the snow began to lay heavy on his wings. The higher he went, the colder he got. And after some time he looked up. He still could not. He tried so hard to break up above the clouds. For a moment he thought he saw the sun through the clouds, but he looked. It wasn't. And after a while he was so cold, even the mighty eagle had to give up. He came circling back down. When he broke out of the clouds and landed on a tree, they saw that he had failed. They all despaired. Well, even the eagle couldn't go. Now what? What are we going to do? Now Vulture. Vulture was sitting by himself too, quite a ways from the other group, and listening to what was going on. They said, what about him? Vulture's a mighty flyer too. Perhaps we can ask him. He may be our only hope left. Now nobody likes the vulture very much. He eats rotten food, you know, he stinks. Well, they asked him anyway. He sent a bird, and he went over and asked, Vulture, you know, we've tried. Even the eagle has failed. But you're a mighty flyer, he said. Would you try? You may be our last hope. Vulture. Well, he said in his gravelly voice, I suppose we could try. And with that, he spread his wings and disappeared up into the clouds. Oh, the birds waited anxiously for him. Waited. Up he went, flying, circling up in the swirling snow. Oh, how he suffered. He was so cold. He flew up and up and up he went. As far up as the eagle had gone. Oh, he could hardly flap his wings. He was so cold. Just when he was about to give up, he looked up and he was pretty sure he saw the sun through the clouds. And this gave him some encouragement. So he flapped his wings just a few more times. And finally, whoosh, he broke out into the sun above the clouds. Oh, he looked around. I made it, he said. Oh, the sun was so warm, it began to melt that snow and the ice off him. He felt so warm, and he circled around. Oh, he said, I made it, I made it. And he started to look around. But where's the Creator? What if I don't find the Creator? He thought. So he flew in a big circle, looking, looking. Way off in the distance, he saw a cloud. And on that cloud, he thought he saw something on there. He thought. So he flew in that direction. And sure enough, as he got closer to that cloud, he could see that there was something there. And he got even closer, he could see there was trees growing on that cloud. And among the trees, there was a big teepee. Oh, he said, this must be where the Creator lives. So he flew there and landed right in front of that teepee. Looked around. Hello, is anybody here? He said. And suddenly he heard a noise inside that teepee. And the flap parted, and out stepped a giant of a man, dressed in white buckskins with feathers in his hair. Oh, he was magnificent. Now Vulture knew that this was the Creator. The Creator looked around. And then he saw Vulture sitting there. "What are you doing here, my child?" said the Creator. And Vulture began to tell him about how cold the birds were. "Oh, would you please," he said, "would you please give us some coats? We're freezing to death. It's so cold down there." The Creator looked at him and said, "Perhaps I have made a great mistake by not giving the birds their coats," he said. "I will give you their coats." And with a wave of his hand, there appeared on the trees hundreds, thousands of beautiful coats, all different colors, blue and yellow. Oh, they were magnificent coats. Vulture looked at him and said, "Oh, wow." And he went over to gather them up. And the Creator said, "Before you go, because you're such a brave bird, and to carry that message all the way up from the earth, you can have the first choice." Vulture said, "I can?" "Sure," said the Creator. "Pick any coat you want." And he ran over to pick it. "Oh," he said, "but remember," said the Creator, "any coat that you pick, when you put it on, it will fit you perfectly. But if you take it off, it will never fit you again. And it can never be yours. So choose wisely." So Vulture looked over there, and he looked around at all the coats, and he saw a coat there that was yellow, beautiful yellow color. And he said, "Oh, that's the coat for me." And he went over and took off that, put it on. Oh, it had a beautiful crest on it. He spread his wings and admired himself. He said, "Oh, look at me. I'm as bright as the sun," he said, prancing about. "Ah, this is the coat for me." And he looked up in the tree, and there he saw a blue coat with little black specks on it. It had a beautiful crest on the hood. "You know," he said, "blue is my favorite color. I like the blue one much better than this one." So he took off the yellow coat and hung it back in the tree and took down the blue one and put it on. "Oh," he said, "this is the coat for a bird as important as myself." And he pranced about admiring himself. Oh, look in the tree. There was a coat. It was just red, blood red. Had little black specks, and it had a crest on it too. Vulture looked at that and he said, "Oh, that is such a beautiful coat. I think I like red better than blue anyway," he said. So he took off the blue coat and put it back up and took down the red coat. He put that on and he said, "This is my coat. Look at this. Oh, red. It's such a beautiful coat. This is it," he said. He looked up, and there on a tree hanging there was a beautiful black, jet black coat. Well, it was so black when he looked at it in the sun, he could see all the colors of the rainbow reflected on it. He said, "I think I like the black one better." So he took off the red coat, put on the black one, and so it went. Every time he put on a coat that he liked even better, he saw another one that he liked even more. First thing you know, he was just putting on coats and taking them off, and putting them on and taking them off. And after a while, he just took a coat on and he went to put it on, and uh-oh, he looked at it. "Oh yes," he said, "I've tried that one on before." He said he took off another one, and he tried to put it on. It wouldn't fit. And there he stood with no coat, and then he realized that he tried on and took off every coat there was on that tree. "Oh no," he said, "I still don't have a coat. I'll freeze. Creator, Creator," he said. The Creator came out. "Yes, my child. I couldn't make up my mind." He said, "No. I've tried on all the coats and taken them off, and I still don't have a coat. What am I going to do?" The Creator said, "Well, I did tell you to choose wisely." Oh, just he said, he looked under the tree, and right among all the fallen leaves and the branches and the dirt, the pine cones, there was one coat that was laying there that had fallen. He stooped and he took it, shook all the dirt off it. It was a very plain looking coat. sort of gray and some brown streaks in it, but it was pretty dirty too. And it had no hood. And the leggings were so short that surely they wouldn't cover all its legs. Well, said the Creator, there's one left. Said Vulture. It's not very pretty, but it will keep me warm. Oh, yes, it will, said the gift. So Vulture put that on. He looked at it. Oh, well, he said, I guess it'll have to do. Yes, said the Creator. Now hurry, take these coats and take them to the birds. Tell them what I told you, to choose wisely. So Vulture gathered up all those coats and he began to fly down, circling rapidly as he went through the clouds. And when he broke out of the clouds and all the birds were waiting, shivering and so cold, having waited for so long, they began to rejoice. Wow, they said, he made it! Look at all the coats he has! The Vulture spread them on the snow in front of them, and all the birds rushed forward to get their coats. Ah, said the Vulture, before you pick a coat, the Creator says that if you put on a coat, it will fit you perfectly, but if you take it off again, it will never be yours because it will never fit again. So choose wisely, the Creator says, choose wisely. And the birds did. And that's why today you see the birds with all their beautiful coats. That's how they got them. The bluebird, the cardinal, the raven got it, black coat, and the crow too. All those beautiful coaches. And they're very warm indeed. But after the birds had finished admiring each other and themselves and their new coats, and they were so warm and cozy sitting there, he looked at the Vulture sitting by himself in the tree, with his long bald head sticking out of his coat, and long skinny legs poking out of his short leggings. And he wondered, I wonder why Vulture picked such an ugly coat. But they never made fun of him. To this very day, they still respect Vulture, because they know that it wasn't for Vulture, none of them would have got their coats. So they respect them to this very day. And that's just how that story ends. Did you like that story?
Yeah.